The courtroom felt less like a place of law and more like a battlefield where truth was suffocating under money, power, and carefully rehearsed silence, as billionaire tech mogul Ethan Kross sat motionless in his flawless suit, his face unreadable while the names of 17 dead factory workers echoed through the hall like unanswered prayers, each name carrying a family, a future, a life that ended because a system meant to protect them was deliberately delayed. And standing beside him was Daniel V. Carter, a defense attorney whose reputation was built not on loud arguments but on the terrifying calm with which he dismantled certainty, a man who understood that juries feared doubt more than lies, and as the prosecution painted a brutal picture of greed, showing emails, internal reports, and emotional testimonies from widows who clutched photographs with shaking hands, the courtroom wept while Ethan Kross did not, because men like him were trained to survive storms by feeling nothing. And when a single email ordering a system update to be postponed before Q4 was projected onto the screen, the room gasped, believing they had finally trapped him, yet Daniel rose slowly and began peeling the moment apart word by word, forcing engineers to admit under oath that the message never explicitly mentioned safety, turning moral outrage into legal uncertainty. And when former executive Maya Reynolds took the stand with tears in her eyes claiming she had warned Kross that people would die, the courtroom leaned forward in hope, only for that hope to fracture when Daniel revealed her immunity deal, her financial reward, and her failed attempt to sell company secrets after resigning, exposing that even truth can bleed when mixed with desperation. And then came the moment no one expected, when Daniel faced the jury and did not beg for innocence but confessed failure, admitting that Ethan Kross had failed as a leader, failed to listen, failed to protect, but arguing that failure, however devastating, was not the same as murder, drawing a thin yet powerful line between negligence and intent. And as the jury vanished behind closed doors, the courtroom sat frozen for 14 unbearable hours, families praying for justice while Kross stared at the floor for the first time. And when the verdict finally arrived, the air collapsed, no prison for manslaughter, but guilt for gross negligence and regulatory fraud. And before relief could form, the judge delivered a punishment that crushed harder than chains, sentencing Ethan Kross to a historic $4.8 billion fine, permanent removal from corporate leadership, lifelong compensation obligations to the victims' families, and a public admission that his decisions cost lives, leaving him standing alone outside the courthouse realizing that freedom without honor is its own kind of prison. While Daniel Carter walked past reporters and said quietly that justice does not always roar like a hero, sometimes it whispers like regret and makes you pay forever.